Namaskar. Welcome to Ancient Wisdom. Raja is king or king is Raja. That is what we have always believed till now. Is that the case? No. There is a huge difference between a king and a Raja. King is Western perspective, whereas Raja is an Indian perspective. And the twain do not meet. How? That we will see in today's episode. King, from the Western perspective, is the leader of mankind. It is the sovereign power. He makes the rules and everybody follows. And interestingly, this was the understanding of the king that made England separate from Rome. Because as far as Rome, Catholicity, Pope was the sovereign, whereas England didn't want to have that kind of situation. The King of England wanted to be the sovereign, and that is why England separated from the power of Rome and became the first Protestant country. So, in Western's perspective, the king is the philosopher and the guide and the power. Whereas, what is the Indian perspective? That we will elaborate with the story of King Shibi, or rather Raja Shibi. Shibi was the Raja, and he was at one time sitting in the balcony of his palace when a pigeon flew in and it sat on his lap. It was shivering with fear. And it said to the king, "King, please save me. There is a falcon behind me who is bent on catching me and killing me and eating me. I am your praja, so please save me." The Raja Shibi assured the pigeon that there was nothing to worry, as he had come in the shelter of the king or the Raja. I would make this mistake because I too have come from the same mill that you are. So, in a few moments, a falcon flew in. The falcon wanted to catch the pigeon for its lunch. It couldn't do so because it was under the shelter of the king or the Raja. The falcon, now the story becomes interesting. The falcon says to the king, "King, I too am your praja, and this is my lunch. I have worked hard for it, and I deserve it as reward for my hard work. Please make sure that I don't go hungry. If I don't get to eat, I am going to die." Now, what do we do? Interestingly, putting the Western perspective, king is not responsible for anything else other than taxes and defense. It is not supposed to provide you with food or work. You are the praja, the minions. You do whatever you want, but at the end of the day, give the taxes, otherwise he is going to punish you. If you do not follow the law, he is going to punish you. The law made by him. So, that is why he is the king, the sovereign, and you are his minions. Whereas what happens in Indian perspective? In Indian perspective, not only the king is responsible, actually king is not really responsible for collecting taxes. Temples used to do that. The king is responsible for the defense of people, welfare of the society, and also to see that justice is done. Justice as in this case, if you are following your dharma, you get the reward that you deserve. And if you do not get it, it is the king's fault. So the king is responsible. And today we call it welfare state. In those times, It was already ingrained in the dharma of the Raja. So the dharma of the Raja was threefold: defense of the society, allowing them a situation where they could carry forward their dharma without fear or fervor, and see to it that no effort goes without rewards, adequate compensation. This being the case, Raja Shibi was honor bound to feed the falcon. So he made the deal with falcon. He said, okay, whatever is the weight of pigeon, I will give it to you from my body. The pigeon was not ready for any other kind of meat or any other kind of food. So the king offered him a part of his body as a deal, and the falcon agreed. So a balance was brought. The pigeon was kept in one side, and on the other side, Raja Shibi cut a large piece of his thigh and put it in the balance. But the pigeon was heavier. Raja Shibi cut 2 or 3 more pieces of his body, put them there. Still the balance was in favor of the pigeon. Shibi was surprised. So heavy a pigeon. So he offered the ultimate sacrifice. He went and sat in the balance. That is, offering his whole body and soul, the life, to save the life of a praja. And it is said, at that point of time, the falcon, the pigeon, all of them came in their original form, and it was Indra who had come to test the dharma of Raja Shibi. Does he follow his Raja Dharma or does he not follow his Raja Dharma? And then they departed. Shibi having passed the examination with flying colors, he received a number of boons. But our takeaway from this story is the role of the king or role of Raja. In Indian context, the Raja is subservient to dharma. And as we see, we have already seen in earlier episode, dharma is another name for justice. And this is how the two terms Raja and King differ very substantially. Henceforth, whenever you will see these terms, you will not be misguided, because one mistranslation leads to complete miscomprehension or wrong comprehension of the situation or the words or paragraphs that follow. We need to understand ancient wisdom in its proper context and with the proper meaning. So that is our story from today, the difference between Raja and King. Namaskar.